children! We may have been having a conversation about Mrs. Doubtfire the musical just before stream started, so this week's episode of
Drive-By Dungeons and Dragoning!
the Drive-By Dungeons and Dragonsing. This week's episode of Delve Requisites brought to you by Mrs. Doubtfire the musical. It's probably not very good. Anyway, this week's episode of Delve Requisite is actually brought to you by Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle. Proficiency bonuses, fine sponsors. Little Dragon Corp! Exclamation point Little Dragon in chat at any point during tonight's stream to get a link to their website. Is a Canadian-based dice company, purveyors of fine polyhedral dice, just like these, which are in fact sort of invisible this week, due to the fact that they are green, like my green screen. But if you are in need of a new set of dice, check out Little Dragon Corp. And if you find one that you like among their myriad selection of fantastic dice products, you can use our code PROBONUS at checkout for 10% off your order. That's PRO, P-R-O, bonus, spelled like bonus. Figure it out.
Also, I think they're either currently or going to be having a sale in general to recoup some losses after a shelf collapsed. So that was a thing I saw on their Instagram.
A shelf collapsed?
Yeah, like their whole wall shelving unit collapsed, and I just saw a picture of thousands of dice everywhere.
And what, it mixed up all the dice so bad that they couldn't put the dice sets back together? I don't understand how that's just...
They announced that they were going to be having a sale to recoup $4,000 in losses. So.
Oh no! All right, well, hey,
yeah.
If you
buy some dice,
if you happen to be a person who for some reason is in immediate need of roughly $4,000 worth of dice, boy, have we got a deal for you. And that deal is buy dice. As I move Macbeth's camera around. That is Little Dragon Corp. Thank you for sponsoring Proficiency Bonus. And our other sponsor, Cardboard Castle Games! Exclamation point CCG in the chat during tonight's stream. At any point, we'll give you a link to their website. They are a brick and mortar tabletop games store located in the United States in Evans, Georgia. But fret not, if you are not in Evans, Georgia, they have the internet. And through the internet, all things are possible. They have a robust online store that you can purchase and have things delivered to you wherever you live. So check them out. Thank you, Cardboard Castle Games, for sponsoring Proficiency Bonus. You guys might notice directly above my head is a nebulous black void where Scylla the Firbolg Druid usually is. Victoria is with us in spirit right now. And by that I mean she's here and has her headphones on and stuff, but her camera is just turned off and her mic is muted because she is in discussions with top men about business deals. She's here. She's just going to be a little bit late tonight as she's not able to join us until a little bit later. But she will be here shortly, and until then, she is in fact here with us in spirit. The rest of the party are here in spirit and in meat form. Ugh, gross. I am here
in Jello form.
Ooh, I'm here in Nickelodeon Floam form.
Ooh. That's taking it to the next level.
Kristy is here in gaseous form.
Gaseous form.
And Michael can be liquid.
Brittney, I think that leaves you with plasma.
Yeah.
Fine.
We're keeping Brittney together by a very complicated series of electromagnets that have created a field that are holding her in place.
To how medicine keeps me functioning as a human.
Welcome. This has been Science Talk with Delve Requisite. Plasma has to be contained by magnetic fields because it is a superheated state of matter that cannot be controlled any other way. That may 100% be wrong. I have no idea. I think I'm right, but if I'm not, nobody ever said that you should come here for accurate...
Look, the Twitch tag says Dungeons & Dragons, not science and information.
somewhere Neil deGrasse Tyson is sharpening a machete to come to my house and slay me for scientific inaccuracy. This has gotten out of control. Let's get to a recap before can you guys tell that it's been a long week for me? I have like brains leaking out of both my ears right now, but we're gonna truck through this. We rejoin the party in the imperial city of Umyath Dorai, a port city inside the Ignian Empire, where they have come following the trail of an elusive individual calling themselves Pendragon and some sort of a conspiracy involving a slaving ring and a very specific type of warrior from the island of Naporia, from which Nymue is a native. The adventures here in Umyath Dorai have been fraught with all sorts of peril and subterfuge and deception. The party sold, air quotes, Nymue into the custody of one of the Empire's slave brokers in order to follow the kind of trail one step further and see where it is that these captive Naporians are being taken. And they followed her. Hang on, I'm getting texted. Okay. They followed her to a place known as Serengras, a arcane and medical sort of institute sponsored by the Empire that is sort of part hospital, part research facility, part time to mute Discord as the beep boops begin, and part sort of asylum of horrors. A drow arcanist there within by the name of Lorsin Thessine was conducting grotesque and abhorrent experiments on the Naporian lunar warriors that he was brought, and seemingly testing them for essentially suitability to be sent further along to his master, who was in fact Pendragon. The party has not learned where this further location was that the surviving Naporians that made it past the scene's examinations were being sent, nor do they know any further information about this Pendragon. But they do have in their possession a number of his journals and books and notations on his experiments that are written in some form of code that, should they be able to decrypt, they would hopefully gain access to pertinent information. Also in their company is one Eora Veshta, the former keeper of the Ordinum Libri's enclave here in Umyath Dorai, who they have learned briefly was basically arrested completely out of the blue for, to her knowledge, no reason in a massive breach of the Ordinum Libri's neutrality agreement with all of the Five Kingdoms. She has agreed to assist them if she can, in exchange for them taking her with them to get out of the city. So we rejoin at sort of the, depending on how you look at it, the tail end or the midway point of a daring escape flight from Serengras through the city into the slave district, where the party released as many captives as they could from the slave markets, including a group of orc warriors led by one Mokral, the chieftain of what they have learned is the Long-Tooth tribe from Honorand. Together with these orc warriors and Mokral and the released slaves, as well as Ayura. The party has fled through the city, outrunning city militia, Imperial guards, and one very, very persistent guard captain with some sort of connection to the Church of Nasum, and a myriad of magical abilities as such, from his station. We left off last week. The group of you had made the docks, keeping literally feet ahead of the charging Imperial Guard captain on his celestial spectral steed. You guys attained footing on the deck of the Sequel, the Naporian fishing vessel that you brought to this place, where your crew that you had brought with you, Tea Kettle, Melted Snow, the Tabaxi, and Movor, your orcish companion, were waiting, and immediately began preparations to break away from the dock. 2 of Macrawl's 9 bulls were slain in the escape by the guard captain, and as the ship began to pull away from the dock, the guard captain used his command incantation, which you had seen him use several times, where he basically shouted an order, the authority of his voice enhanced by some sort of divine magic, and compelled those who it was directed at to obey and submit to sort of his willpower. Rowan has thrice defied him, and refused to follow this command. And Thyxes fell victim to it once, but was basically scooped up and carried bodily from harm's way. And at the last moment here, he used this command a third and final time, and Rowan, you once again had withstood him. I'm forgetting off the top of my head who the other party member was. It might have been Thyxes again.
It was Thyxes, yeah.
And with some aid from his friends, via some DM's inspiration that got passed around, he was able to resist. And Macrawl, who you guys don't know whether or not he passed or failed. The result, however, was that he leapt from the deck of the ship, and charged this guard captain, buying you guys time to peel away from the dock. So, we rejoin now, as the lines have been cast from the dock. Movor is at the helm of the Sequel, but, is motioning, Murderbeard, to you to come and take the helm of the ship. So when we last left off Murderbeard, you were, running towards the helm. Rowan and, I believe Nymue, you guys had both tried to, grab Macrawl, but he outstrengthed you and just leapt from the ship. So you guys are kind of at the railing of this ship. Thyxes and Scylla, you guys are both there as well. Tea Kettle is up in the crow's nest. You can see her kind of up there. She has her light crossbow with her, though she just kind of she climbed up there when you guys got on the ship, picked up her crossbow and is just up there kind of ready to shoot at anybody that wants to, that would jump onto the ship. Melted Snow is currently, furiously working the rigging of the sails. Several of the orcs have, jumped in kind of to help. You get the sense that, they're not particularly experienced sailors, but some of them seem to have at least a little bit of knowledge, and, they are helping to operate the ship. You also have 3 other individuals who you guys let out of those slave pens that have, made the run all the way this way with you. And they're just kind of, huddled near the mast, trying to not be in anybody's way. So, the scene that we see here is Macrawl lands on the dock. The Ignean guard captain is straightening himself up, standing up, having just used this last command, and having just jumped clear of his steed, which, if you will remember, Thyxes cast Reduce on a chunk of dock, and, like, shrunk down a piece of it, making, like, a kind of just like a hole in the dock. The steed fell into the water, and the rider, its rider jumped clear. So the steed is, like, down into this hole. The rider is now, like, kind of next to it. And Mokral has landed, and, like, charged him, hefting that makeshift maul that he made for himself by, like, breaking off a column from a piece of a stall back in the slave market. So as the sequel begins to move forward down towards the end of the dock and, like, away out into the harbor, as Mokral, like, charges in, lifting this maul, the guard captain bringing his sword up in a defensive pose as Mokral comes in, and dozens of other, like, members of the guard coming thundering down the dock, having fought their way free of Scylla's entangling spell. Any of you on the ship here in the party, is there anything that you guys are doing in this moment right now?
Oh, very much so. Murderbeard has not moved from his initial position, even though he's being called to the wheel, as Murderbeard was in the process of making a Molotov cocktail.
Yes!
These people.
Okay, so that is right. You ran below and found a bottle of rum, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, necessary components.
Okay. So what is Murderbeard doing here? You have a bottle of alcohol. You've stuffed a strip of, like, cloth from somewhere into it. You have this thing in your hand.
I'm I'm assuming Murderbeard probably has matches on his person, or flint and steel, and, like,
flint and steel is probably safe to say, yeah.
And we'll ignite it and attempt to yeet it.
Here's what I want to do. I'm gonna make you make a check to see if you can, like, strike and light this thing. It's not gonna be a very difficult check, because you've soaked this rag in flammable, high proof liquor. Yeah. But, like, you do still need to successfully, like, strike that flint and steel and get it to, like, get that spark to catch. So go ahead and roll a sleight of hand check for me. And I'm gonna say you only need to beat a 5. Which I think, with whatever your sleight of hand is, probably means...
I can't roll lower than a 6.
Yeah, but you can roll a nat 1 and fail. So as long as you don't roll a nat 1, you're fine.
Well, I rolled a 15.
Yes. So easy enough. You set that bottle down. You strike the flint and steel. The spark hits the alcohol-soaked rag, and it lights up. And you now have a flaming bottle in your hand.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to throw it. My main goal is to, like, hit the guard captain.
Mm-hmm.
My second goal is at least, like, hit the group of dudes and maybe, like, light the dock on fire.
So...
But I'm aiming for him. Okay,
so you can definitely throw it at him. What I will say is, like, you don't think the dock is going to, like, just light on fire. You know, it's pretty well... I mean, like, a flaming batch of liquid will, like, hit the ground for a time, but, like, you're probably not going to send the whole dock up. And if you're throwing at the guard, you're probably not, like, the angle is probably not going to be such that it is, like, does double duty, is very effective against the guys coming down the dock. Yeah, but, like, you can definitely huck it at him. Yeah. Yes, so, actually, let me pull his stat block up again.
At the very least, it'll slow down these guys.
Unless
I huck it directly into the water.
Go ahead and roll to hit against him.
Is that just going to be
a dex? No, it would be It's an improvised weapon, so you don't get to add your proficiency bonus, but you will roll d20 plus your dexterity as you're throwing it.
Okay, so d20 plus like my dex modifier in the saving throws.
No, like whatever you're in your like where your stat block thing is. Because I think as a rogue you have proficiency with dex saves, so it's like if your dex is a +4.
Oh, there it is. It's +3.
+3. So d20 +3 will be your roll there.
Okay. That was an 18 +3, but I would like to use my DM's inspiration.
Okay.
So
again, roll with advantage.
Okay.
This is music.
Okay, that one was a 20.
Nat 20?
Yeah. So that's a 23 total.
Okay, that I'll tell you what, the first one would have hit. The second one,
this one
definitely hits.
Okay,
Okay, so go ahead and roll me.
I want a Phantom of the Opera, this guy.
Let's call it a D4.
Okay.
Roll me a D4 plus your dexterity, and then double that to represent the damage of, like, the critical bottle hitting him.
17, because I rolled a 4 plus thing, so I rolled max damage.
4. Wait a minute. Hang on a second.
4 plus 3 doubled, right?
4 plus 3.
I rolled a 4 plus my 3
is 7.
Yeah, and then double.
7 times 2 is...
What did I say?
14. You said 17.
I meant 14.
I was like, wait a minute. How did we get to 17?
Because the first number was 7.
14. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, yes. 14. Okay, so you do 14 points of I guess piercing damage.
Trying to figure out piercing.
I'm trying to figure out if it's piercing or slashing as like a bottle just.
Well, does it break on impact like immediately, or does it get funked first?
No. He fully
and then breaks.
This like you throw this, you take it by like the neck of the bottle with this like flaming rag sticking out the bottom, and you throw it like overhand, and
I feel like it's bludgeoning and
it goes through the air. I think what happens is like it hits him. Doesn't hit him in the face. Because if it hit him in the face, it probably would be less likely to break. With that nat 20, you hit him square in the center of his chest plate. And the glass into the metal causes the bottle to just... So I think he gets piercing damage as like the bottle shatters and a bunch of like pieces of glass just like go up into like his like under his like chin and his like face and stuff. And you already, like, if you'll remember, you already got Fastball Special by McCrawl, and you already, like, cut one of his eyes out. Yeah. So he just takes, like, a peppering of glass shards in the face, which you only see for, like, a fraction of a second, as the next thing that happens is the flaming rag ignites all of the alcohol in the bottle. And so just, like, a cloud of fire just, like, erupts over this guy's face. I'm going to say that does 2d6 fire damage. So he's going to take 6 points of fire damage additional to that. Okay, is anybody else doing anything as Murderbeard? Is he actively
on fire now?
No, he does not catch fire because he's not, like, wearing anything flammable. Like, his armor is, like, metal. Well, we'll get to that. But he doesn't, like, ignite.
That's what I was hoping for.
As you guys see Murderbeard like wing this flaming bottle and just like engulf this guard captain in flames. Is anything else any of you guys are doing? Now the ship, keep in mind, like is moving, right? So he's like slowly starting to get further away from
to the wheel now once we do that.
Okay.
And as I run past Thyxes, I'm just gonna be like after I just did the coolest thing ever.
You get to the wheel and Milcraw's like, Captain, learn magic. You do fireball, not know you. Know this.
Yep. I'm magic now, McCraw.
Or what did I say, McCraw? Movor.
Movor. Yep.
Movor says that.
I'm magic now, Mo.
Yeah, what is McCall doing?
We'll get to. I'm giving you guys a chance to do anything before we see what he's gonna do.
I think as he jumps out of mine and Rowan's grasp and like goes like full throttle, I think Nymue just starts cursing in a combination of Naporian and Orcish. At him, like, get the fuck back here! What are you doing? Like, just full cursing because she can't do anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with. As soon as she starts, I hear the common cursing. I'm gonna start.
Oh yeah,
trying to-
everything.
The common, the celestial, and the elvish cursing.
So,
Yeah.
Here,
Some elvish more.
here is what happens. You guys are like on the railing of the ship, like screaming at him in 9 different languages. One of his bulls comes up and like he like puts a hand on let's say Rowan's shoulder, and you kind of like turn back and you look at him, and he just sort of like he makes a gesture at you. You don't get the impression that he knows you speak Orcish at this point, Nymue, but like I don't think he thinks Rowan understands. So he kind of like makes a gesture at you where he kind of like he almost as if he were going to like reach out and like pat you on the top of the head. But he doesn't touch you, right? He does this like between you. He kind of goes like this, and you get the sense that he's kind of telling you like calm, and then he just like nods his like tusked jaw like in the direction like watch. And as you guys look around, you see like the rest of the long-tooth bulls are not panicking. You know, they don't seem to be distressed by this. They're just like they're like beholding whatever is about to happen. And
Thyxes would also probably be standing there like staring, probably not as panicked as what everybody else is.
Sure.
Looking over at Movar because Thyxes remembers his conversation he had with Movar early on about honor.
Mm-hmm.
And would probably just kind of also just like maybe to Nymue just like rest a hand on her shoulder and just be like, just kind of shake his head. Don't even say anything.
Okay. So what you see is this, and the fact that Murderbeard hit this guy with a lit Molotov is going to affect this. Mocrawl. I should not have named them both M names. Mocrawl.
You did it to yourself,
I did do it to myself.
Who are you,
Mocrawl. Yeah, I know, right? Mocrawl hits the dock, and he charges in. He brings this basically shattered 2x4 up over his head like he's going to take like a massive overhead swing, like down into this guy. The Molotov like, comes past him, hits the guard captain, who like staggers back, and the flame like burns itself out fairly quickly, right? Because all of the alcohol just burns, and once it's burned out, it's gone. You see now as this like clears, this sort of like cloud clears away from the guard captain. He's still on his feet. He looks kind of like Darth Vader when they take his helmet off at the end of Return of the Jedi. His head is just like a mottled like pink and red scab. His hair fully burned off. His 2 like elven pointed ears have been like the tips have like scorched, slightly more like rounded. His eye still missing, but he like miraculously like keeps his footing and like brings his sword to bear again on the immediate threat as Mocrawl comes in. And Mocrawl lifts this maul that he's made for himself as if he's going to bring it down. The guard captain brings his sword up in a defensive stance this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a set of contesting rolls. Crawl rolls a strength. The guard captain rolls his strength. with disadvantage because he has just been hit by a Molotov cocktail. Okay. McCrawl rolls a 19. The guard captain, on his first roll, rolls a 22. On his second roll, rolls a 12. McCrawl comes in high with the piece of wood. The guard captain brings his sword up to guard it. And at the last second, from behind, you see McCrawl start to bring the piece of wood down. But when he gets to, like, the apex above his head, you see his hands, his fingers just... And he just lets the piece of wood go. And it falls, like, behind. It kind of, like, bonks off his shoulder and, like, falls behind him. And he follows through, like, bringing his hands down, but brings them in and turns his shoulder like this. And as the guard captain came up to defend, he lets that piece of wood go, and, like, the feint that got the guard captain to go like this leaves him fully exposed as McCrawl, like a linebacker, just rams him as hard as he can. And guard captain's going to get one more save. Again, I'm going to give him disadvantage for being lit on fire. He gets a 9. McCrawl charges in for all the world like he is going to, like, engage this man in, like, combat to the death for his honor or whatever, and then simply drops his weapon and shoulders this guy and pushes him right into the hole that Thyxes made. And he falls backwards and through the dock, and you hear just a mighty splash in the water. And McCrawl, like, skids to a stop. He, like, windmills his arms twice to keep himself from going in, like, after his target. He comes up and regains his footing and turns, and then begins sprinting towards the end of the dock after the sequel as you guys are pulling away.
Thyxes will run and try to, like, unlash one of the ropes that are kind of, like, around the edge of the boat.
Yes.
And kind of maybe, like, toss it towards him.
Excellent.
I grab the end. I run with Thyxes. While he's doing it, I grab the end that we have so I can pull him.
Okay, perfect. Here's how I want to resolve this. I had a week to think about this. I'm very excited about this roll.
I'm scared now.
Here's how we can do this. So,
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Murderbeard's Molotov, like, proved to be the, like, very painful distraction that allowed McCrawl to, like, pull off this like fake out maneuver and just knock this guy, like, ass over tea kettle into the into the ocean, and is now, like, you guys are, like, the ship is beginning to, like, pick up speed a little bit, as you guys, like, get going out of port here towards the harbor, and he's, like, just flat out sprinting, and you see, like, the muscles in his, like, quads are just, like, bulged out as he just pumps his arms and is running. Melted Snow sees this and immediately is like, and starts, like, whipping rope and, like, pulling and trying to, and, like, letting sail in a little bit to, like, slow you guys down. But it is going to come right down to the wire. So you guys are, like, this, you're grabbing rope. Rowan is, like, tying it to herself. You guys run right to the back of the sequel, and it is going to come down to, like, the sequel passing, like, the very end of the dock, and McCrawl is going to, like, jump for it.
Can I also, as a secondary, find a secondary rope just in case this one does not land?
Sure.
Can I use the help action to steer the boat in his general direction?
Here is how we are going to do this. Oh, I hear him. Here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna explain how we're gonna do this.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. McCrawl is going to jump. he is going to make an athletics check. One of you guys on the boat is going to like be the representative role for the party. And you are going to make either an athletics check or an acrobatics check. So acrobatics in the sense that like it is a dex-based check to represent like sort of like lasso finessing the rope, or an athletics to represent like just hucking it. We're going to take McCrawl's roll. We're going to take your roll. We're going to add them together. I'm going to tell you right now, the DC that you guys need to beat collectively is a 15. So, and it doesn't matter, like, you guys could roll a 2. As long as he rolls well enough, he will get the rope and he'll get on. The only thing is that if one of you rolls a nat 1, does not matter what the other one rolls, like, you miss, and he goes in the water. So that's how we're going to resolve this. 2 rolls, 1 by him, 1 by somebody from the boat. And together, if you beat that 15, he gets that rope, and you guys can haul him in.
I'm assuming Nimue's got the best acrobatics.
I have a +6 acrobatics.
Oh, you
Very
should
good.
totally be
Well
doing
then.
that.
We are going to see how that shakes out when we come back from a brief break.
Hey, yeah.
Hey. Okay, so stick around. Don't anybody go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break because I have a small... oh, wait. Hang on a second.
Pupper?
Be careful.
She's on the couch on our screen.
Oh,
Dream can't see it.
Little baby.
She is.
Princess Olive.
She is.
oh, baby girl.
Hey, I was in the hospital today, but I'm feeling much better now.
Tummy.
I just got home.
Yeah.
So somebody just got home from the hospital, so I need to. I'm gonna say my hellos to the small beast. But we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will proceed with this. So, don't anybody go anywhere. We'll be right back. Olive, you want to take us to some mid rolls? Okay, can you click right there? Okay, say, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I could hear it.
You guys
I
get
heard
the
it.
idea. with 100% more Scylla than we had when we started. So we return. I am thankful that it is not showing up on camera, but am covered in dog hair because I did just smoosh a small beast for about 15 minutes. She had a big day, so she needed smooshes. That has been accomplished. So now let's do some D&Ding for the rest of tonight's session. When we left off, we were about to make a very important roll. Mokral, orc chieftain of the Longtooth tribe, is sprinting and leaping off the very end of the dock as the sea quill pulls away from harbor. There are dozens of Imperial Guard sprinting down the dock, a handful of meters behind him. The guard captain, still alive so far as you know, but burned, cycloptificated, and otherwise beat upon, has been pushed into the ocean. I said before, we're going to make 2 rolls here. A crawl. So we do make a athletics roll. Somebody from the party is going to make either an athletics or an acrobatics roll. The total of those 2 rolls together must exceed a 15. If they do not, a crawl does not catch the rope and get onto the back of the sequel, and will fall into the water as you guys pull away from port. If you collectively beat that 15, you get a rope to him, and you are able to pull him aboard. So, let's do it this way. I'm going to roll from a crawl. A crawl rolls an 11. Pretty good. So you pretty much just need to not roll a crit fail, and you should be okay. So, 11. You need 4 more.
10.
10.
Plus 6, so 16.
Plus 6.
And if that failed, I was also going to do my side boosted ability, but I think we're okay.
No, that is enough. Nymue, you take this, Thyxes, runs this rope over. Rowan ties it to her. The end gets handed to Nymue. Nymue, you lasso it out. McCrawl leaps from the end of the dock. He, twists in the air and grabs the, loop of this with his 2 hands, as he then, falls and splashes mightily into the water. A moment later, Rowan, you are, hauled, bracing yourself against the very back of the sequel, and the group of you are able to pull McCrawl back aboard the boat. So he, clambers his way over the railing on the back of the ship. Murderbeard, you have taken a helm at this point. You are steering away. You pull away from the end of the dock out into the harbor and away from land towards open water. He, hauls himself to his feet on the deck and sort of almost like a dog, just shakes the excess water off of himself. He turns and he looks back in time to see a bunch of guards running and coming to a stop. A few perfunctory crossbow shots are taken at you guys, but they kind of just sail mostly harmlessly out into the water. You guys do see several guards pulling with their own rope. They haul that guard captain up. You see his form growing dimmer in the distance, climb back over the hole in the dock that Thyxes made, back onto solid footing. So you guys can see kind of where you are on the map there. You are pulling away from that set of docks sort of in the middle there. There's that big spit of land. What's your heading? Which way are you guys heading? You can go north around the interior of the harbor here. You can go south a little bit either way, like once you kind of clear that little landmass, you have sort of north and south to pick from. Although, like, if you zoom out on this map to like the coastal map, it's really more of like west and east, because the Miathtarai is sort of on like the kind of like southern-ish tip of the Gulf. They're the imperial portion of the Gulf here, so it's really like this way that you have to pick from. The Grimm's Folly is to the west.
I say we go that way. We head back to Grimm's Folly.
I would say, go south around the landmass to get away from the big old cannons, and then west is my vote.
Okay.
With looking at the captain and everything
Alrighty.
else.
You guys begin with all haste sailing south and then bearing to like start to head west out into open water and along the coast away from Miathtarai. Behind you.
If we're passing like the big tower with the giant cannons, like even if we're far away from it, like do we think it's gonna be able to hit us?
I was gonna see if I don't think an insight check is necessary here, right? Like, you saw this thing coming in, like the purpose of this thing looks like it is to be able to blast stuff like coming in towards the harbor. So I think there is a like that's a concern, right? Like, do they turn this thing and try and, like, shoot you out of the water with this big cannon fortress thing that they have parked here? I don't think you guys have any way of really knowing, like, the precision capability. Like, you know, this thing, it's common sense that this thing is, like, for coastal defense of this city. I don't think you guys have any way of really determining, like, how effective this thing is against, like, a single very small ship, like, fleeing out into open water. So that's going to be kind of a decision that you'll have to make.
We can outrun it, right, Captain?
With the power of God and anime on our side, sure. We'll find out. In the Grimm's Folly, probably would have had a better chance, but the sequel is...
The sequel is probably more maneuverable than the Grimm's Folly. It's much smaller. It's also harder to hit, probably.
I can pull some fancier footwork, but speed is not necessarily...
Wheel is in your hands, Captain. Let's do this.
Aye, the wheel is in my hands. Thank you for pointing out the obvious things.
You guys begin sailing away. You head south and start to bear around this little like landmass here. The city is ablaze behind you with all like lamps and torches and high alert has been called. You can hear from what you gauge to be both the north and the south. You can hear bells that are of a different timbre than like the general alarm bells that were raised throughout the city. You hear these like deeper, larger, slower sounding bells. In the city you were listening to these like bung 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 bung, these alarm bells. You hear joining this mix as you escape out to sea coming from sort of the north and the south of the city. You hear mixed in these discordant boom, boom, as if some sort of like a massive bell is being like sounded Um, everybody who wants to can make me a perception check as you guys proceed here.
It's not going to be great.
13.
26.
Okay.
19.
17.
5.
Alrighty. Murderbeard, you're focused ahead, right? Like, it's dark. So you are, like, navigating your way around this landmass. You're hugging close to this landmass to try and buy yourself as much time to, like, hug this corner and come around and begin heading north. You are keeping too sharp an eye, like, that you don't run this damn boat into anything to, like, look around, really. Who had the... Remember, you had a 5. Somebody else had a
13.
A 13. Nymue. You also are not really able to discern anything through, like, kind of the gloom.
Mm-hmm.
But the others of you, you guys see... you see something, and then, like, one of you is going to see an additional thing. All three of you, Rowan, Scylla, Thyxes, you guys see, coming from the south, you'll remember when you came into the city, you saw what you were pretty sure was like a shipyard, where it looked like they were in the process of, like, building several vessels. You guys see, as you, like, come around this piece of land and, like, get kind of a clearer view around this, like, kind of down the coastline a little bit towards this shipyard, and you see, like, the lamps, all, like, lamps and torches and things all beginning to light. You see 3 vessels making best haste, pulling out of this sort of, like, shipyard area and heading in your direction. 3, like, small, like, frigate attack ships, kind of, like, heading in your direction. You have a pretty solid lead on them, right? Like, they're coming from way down there. The other thing that you all 3 are able to discern as you kind of, like, look in this direction, like, squint through the gloom, you see, as the, like, the silvery light from the planet Agiria's ring, like, illuminates down onto the ocean and onto the water and adds to the ambient light of these, like, ships that are, you know, being, like, manned and sent out. You see, dark, anchored in even rows, moored further along the coast, as if, like, constructed and brought out and away from the shipyard, an armada of a scale that none of you have ever even conceived of. There are probably hundreds of ships moored around the bend of this coast that you were hidden from your view as you came in the opposite way, but now as you come out down this other way and you can see further, you see these ships, and they fade off into the gloom of the night, but there is a fleet of devastating size. It's just the 3 ships coming after you. They did not mobilize, like, 300 ships to chase you guys down. But you have this information. The Ignean Empire has amassed an armada in this, like, outside of this shipyard here. And these 3 frigates are coming for you. Scylla, with your exceptionally high roll, as you guys crest the horn of this little landmass here and begin, like, heading sort of north to then bear, like, northwest to start heading back towards where the Grimm's Folly is, you see on that huge fortification a very faint, ambient, kind of bluish light that as you, like, move to the port side of the ship and, like, squint, you can just discern are bands of runes, arcane runes, blazing to life in strips around this fortification. And you see the central, like, highest singular, like, long gun cannon. You see the barrel of it begins to, like, spin, ramping up very slowly.
The cannon on the tower has arcane enchantments. Brace for whatever is about to happen. It's getting warmed up.
Oh
Like,
no!
Thyxes would probably be like jaw open, staring at the boats, like just sitting there, like not looking at Captain, but like slapping him on the shoulder as he's not paying attention. Captain.
What?
Captain.
I'm a bit busy steering the ship.
But sorry, we'll steer the other way. Steer the other way.
Why?
And I'll point.
Ah, fuck! Hardly.
Melted Snow, as this is all pointed out, is like Melted Snow's like eyes are like wide like dinner plates. And he says, "Do we have any way of contacting the Grimm's Folly? Perhaps they can make haste to meet with us." He like looks, he says, "I do not like our odds of outrunning those ships."
I can cast Sending to Nymue.
I can cast
We
I
left him
have
a
no
ring,
spell
didn't we?
slot. No, the ring. Nimue had one ring and I had the
Nimue
other
is-
ring.
Oh, I
And
thought we
are-
left it. I thought we left the other
No.
ring
We
with.
talked
No.
about it.
because
And-
you guys wanted to be able to contact me, and then
Yeah,
No,
it's
I have
really-
like literally no spell.
You
Well,
have no
okay,
spells.
y'all. If no one has any other things
I can shout
to do,
real loud.
well, I can try something, but I don't know that it's gonna work. I could try to talk to an animal and tell it to just go to the fucking ship and freak out. Like, I could grab a seagull and be like, please help me. But it's not animal messenger, it's just me talking to it.
I've been trying to fish command.
We already did the
We already
trident.
used it.
You've
We
already
already
used it
used
today.
Oh, I used all 3 charges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Does anyone
I
else
mean-
have any other ideas?
My only thoughts are you try that. Well, Thyxes, can you set off a fireball into the sky as like a flare gun?
well, here's the thing: do we want to put a flare with an armada like right there?
Right. I was
You're
thinking more about
probably
things
also not in like they're
not
they're-
a
invisible.
ways
far.
away, right? Like
Fireball
they
range.
they
Yeah.
moored the ship hidden, you know,
Try
a
the
couple
seagull.
of
That's all we
miles.
got.
Try the seagull. That's all we got.
Can we also tie like a piece of like a note to the seagull's leg?
Kenku
I
can't
can
fly,
literally, I
right?
can literally
Kenku
try
cannot
that.
fly.
I cannot
Okay.
guarantee that
Let's
it's gonna
try it.
work.
That's all we got. Let's try it.
Thyxes, give me a piece of paper.
oh, well, right here.
I scribble out. Get ready.
We're bombs.
coming. I like write out like we're in trouble.
Intercept
towards
us.
Yeah, head towards us.
This is latitude, longitude, right here. Okay, go.
Okay.
Alright.
All right. So you're trying to like flag down
I
a.
would like to cast prestidigitation on the writing to make it like blink in red.
Okay.
Warning.
Yes, you can certainly do that. Okay. So you're trying to.
Why not just cast it on the seagull himself?
Okay, so if there is like some kind of like a seagull or like a bird around, I want to try to use my speech of beast and leaf to get it to like come to me.
I
And-
like this idea. So what I think I want to do is I'm gonna have you make a roll. I'm gonna let you like find a bird.
Mhm.
Regardless, your roll, how good your roll is going to determine how like helpful the bird
Yeah.
that you locate is going to like be.
Uh-huh.
So roll a nature check for me.
I'm not too bad at those. Dice that looks like a storm. Nope, I'm using my inspiration because that was a 2. Not the dice that looks like a storm anymore. Okay. 21.
21. Okay. All right.
I rolled a 17 on the die.
You flag down a seabird. There's like, it looks like maybe something fell overboard off of like a fishing vessel coming into port. So there's kind of like a little circle near like a little spit of rocks where there's some like seabirds kind of nesting for the night here. And some of them, some like night owls among them, are kind of like picking at some floating debris in the water. And you use the speech of beast and leaf. Is this sort of like speak with animals, essentially?
They can understand me. I can't understand them, but it basically, like, I can communicate with them, beasts and plants, and I have advantage on charisma checks to influence them. But I literally don't know what they say, so this is all just like living on a prayer.
So you flag down this bird, and it kind of like peels off from its group, flies over, lands on the railing on the side of the sequel, and just like kind of looks at you, like.
If we have, like, a good berry left, I'm gonna give him a good berry. Like, I don't even know, but I take somebody's final good berry, and I just give him a snack.
Okay, you like,
or her,
and he just sort of, like, gulps it down. I think you hand the good berry to this gull, and, like, 4 other gulls then come in, and your original gull is, like, flaps them all off and scares them away, and then goes back to, like, looking at you.
Okay, so I know that it's, like, directly west. The Grimm's Folly?
Yes.
Is, like... Okay.
On the coast, yes.
It's on the coast?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say to the bird... Ooh, what am I gonna say? If you fly in the direction that the sun sets, down on the sand, you'll see a ship that is black. I need you to fly there. I'm going to tie this to you. Someone will take the message. Can you please do this as a servant of nature?
Promise it a reward.
I already gave you I gave you food that shall sustain you for a day. I will give you more if you need it.
So it like, you like kind of ask this, it like it's like doing this the whole time, and it goes like, and like opens its beak, and then you're like, I will give you more food, and then it like claps its beak shut, and gives like ruffles up its feathers. Somebody has a note they're like trying to secure to this thing, right?
Yeah, like I would take if the animal seems like it's willing to help, I'll try to like tie it on.
It seems like it's a bird, so but it's at least like listening to you. Go ahead and you can secure the note to it. That's fine. Go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage to see like if it's willing to like do your bidding.
Alright, this is where my dice are gonna roll 2 natural 20s, right? Nope. Oh god, one of them was a natural 1. But the other one, persuasion, is a 10.
A 10.
Yeah, I rolled an 11 minus 1.
Can I give her my inspiration? We need this to work.
You tie this like note to this gull, and it like gives one last like and leaps off the edge of the ship, and you kind of watch it like fly up into the sky. It is like for a moment like silhouetted by the like the backdrop of the arc of the ring, and then it like dives down and like lands back among that like wreckage and shit. And then a moment later, it like takes off again and flies in a westerly direction.
Well, it headed west. Whether or not it's actually going to do what I asked is another matter entirely.
Better than nothing. I'm just gonna try and help us go faster with the sails or brace if we're gonna
Whatever we can do, I'm helping.
So, we are going to, so for audience at home, and for you guys, we're going to get into, for the first time, not for the first time, because we have had ship-to-ship combat in this campaign before, but this is the first time we're going to get into some, like, ship-to-ship combat situations with a new system that I have created. I don't love how ship-to-ship combat works in D&D, like rules is written, so I changed it. I borrowed a little bit. If anybody out there is familiar with the Adventure Zone, the current campaign that they have going on, Ether Sea, Griffin McElroy developed a system for like ship-to-ship fighting in that, which doesn't quite fit our setting, but like I thought was very interesting. So I borrowed some elements from that. I've kind of like improvised some things of my own, and I've sort of like cobbled together a system here that we are going to get into play for the first time. Fortunately for you guys, at least right now, you are on a ship that does not have any weapons. So for the purposes of right now, you guys all have access to that spreadsheet that I sent you, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can pretty much ignore
Ram and fire.
everything else. Ignore ram, ignore fire. Your hull has 150 hit points. Your initiative in this vessel is +3. And then, like, facilities, equipment, like, don't worry about any of that stuff, right? Because this is just, like, you're in this vessel, right? So, the way that this is going to work, it's going to be a little bit narrative at the beginning here, because, like, this is, you know, we're kind of setting this up. You guys are collectively in control of your ship. So everything that like your ship is going to do in combat is going to be like decided by you guys as a group. Your initiative is very important to this combat system. And it is a accumulation of the things that like a given ship is outfitted with, as well as like the readiness of the crew, right? So if like the ship is in better condition, it has like better sails, things like that, like it is going to, and it has, you know, a lot of crew and a lot of good crew, it is going to be, you know, quicker on the draw, essentially. Like initiative in this sort of system represents like who acts faster in the moment, as like two ships are like dogfighting with each other. So instead of rolling a set initiative and then following that like through rounds of combat, each round of combat is kind of its own self-contained thing. Each round of combat, every participant in the battle is going to roll an initiative roll, which is a d20 plus the initiative score of your ship. You guys have the full stat block for the Grimm's Folly. For this little guy, the sequel you're using here, you just use, you know, the schematics of this, but the hull has 150 HP, and your initiative is a +3. Because it is a very light and maneuverable and agile vessel, and you do have, like, more than enough people to operate things. Each round we will roll an initiative, and that initiative roll will determine, like, what order the combatants in the battle go in. That represents, like, you know, you got the upper hand, right? And so you're going to be able to do stuff. Your ship has 3 actions that it can take. each round of combat. You guys have the list of combat maneuvers on your spreadsheet there. You can pick from any of those, and you can use 3 of them. Some of them you can use more than once. Some of them, like, it doesn't make sense to use more than once. Some of them you don't have access to in this ship, right? Because some of them are like fire weapons, which you don't have. You kind of like take your 3 actions with your ship, and then we move on to the next burst initiative, and we go from there. I don't want to spend too much time like talking through it. We'll kind of learn as we go, right? So bear with us at home, audience. This is the first time these guys have ever used this system. It's the first time I have like tested it live. So if it's screwy, it's a work in progress. We will adjust it. But we're going to go through this together. So, in the current battle is the Sequel, Ignean, we'll call them like Ignean Frigate, 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna say the defense cannon, and one other thing that I'm gonna put as a question mark for right now. So those are the participants in this combat. Right now, you guys have distance on these frigates that are chasing you. They are not in your guys' weapon range. They are faster than you, generally. So that may not be true for long. Your guys' basic goal here, and we're going to stretch the time scale of each like round of combat out a little bit to represent like the first like round or 2 will be like in the port here, but then the next couple of rounds are going to be kind of like extended out to represent like running from these guys for like the hour or so that it's going to take to try and get to the Grimm's Folly. So let's begin. Any one of you can pick whoever. It's me, just one person though. It's going to roll me an initiative for the sequel. I'm going to roll collectively for the frigates. I'm going to roll collectively for the cannon. And I'm going to roll mystery. Holy crap.
Murderbeard?
Captain?
14.
Okay.
Is that with the +3?
No, that was the straight roll.
Nice. So 17.
Okay. So you have a 17 total? Okay. The defensive cannon is on initiative 20 here.
Oh.
That is not going to do anything this round, except it is continuing to, like, power on. You see, like, the runes begin to grow brighter. That like, barrel starts to spin. And you can just sort of start to see that, like, the whole top portion of that structure is starting to very slowly track as the barrel, like, homes in on your vessel. The sequel is the next in the initiative, with an initiative of 17. You guys have your list of combat maneuvers there. You get 3 of them. You guys can decide which ones you want to employ. If we, like, come up with new ones that it would make sense to add to this, we can, I'll write them down. We may add them later. But for now, like, these are the ones I came up with. You have fire, reload, brace, evasive action, ram, line up, press the advantage, or bring her around. Each of which does different things. We'll explore those as we get to them. Some of them you obviously don't have access to. You have no weapons aboard the ship. So fire and reload don't do anything for you. Bring her around doesn't specifically do anything in this case, but, like, you can maybe, if you want to use this to, like, do some sort of, like, fancy maneuvers to like, do something cool with the ship, I'll let you use it for that. And then the other ones are all pretty self-explanatory and should, be usable in the situation.
So
Evasive
I mean,
action.
I feel like it's clear that we're gonna span 3 things right now.
Yeah.
Super hard every time.
Yep. Brace and evasive action are probably what we can do right now, yeah?
Well, we can also
Yeah.
press the advantage, right? Because we won the initiative contest with the other ships,
Yep.
or is that
You
not how
can-
that works?
So typically this cannon is kind of its own thing. So yes, you beat the other ships in the initiative,
It's not the
which is
cannon.
typically how that would work, right? Like when you beat out the other ship, you can press the advantage. The cannon is
Yeah.
kind of a different wrench in this scenario. So
Okay.
yes, I will allow you to use press the advantage now to give yourself. So
So
for
we do
those
those
at
three.
home, press the
Okay.
advantage is when you win an initiative contest on a round. You can use this maneuver to press your advantage. So it gives you advantage on the initiative round for next roll.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are your 3 actions.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 3 actions that the crew has chosen here are Brace, Evasive Action, and Press the Advantage. Brace is basically a maneuver where, the shout goes up across the crew of, Brace! And everybody, hunkers down, holds on to something, and prepares, for any incoming fire. It will reduce incoming damage to the ship by 25%. Evasive Action. The ship does have an AC. Taking evasive action, essentially, that is like Macbeth. You are basically you're serpentining the ship. You're doing maneuvers. That is going to increase the ship's AC in the next round of combat. And press the advantage, as we said, gives you guys advantage. So that is the sequel's turn. The ships. The ships are going to. They're going to take the 3 actions that they're going to take are line up. So that would give them advantage on their next weapon attack next round. They are also going to take evasive action, and they are going to take I guess they'll also take brace. I think probably we need a maneuver here that represents speeding the ship up somehow. But that's the 3 that they'll do. So they are going to
full sail ahead or something
like that, yeah. They're going to increase the AC of their ship, so they're going to get ready to dodge anything. They don't know what kind of weapons you might have. They are going to try and get ready to line up a shot with you guys. And they're prepared for anything coming in. So that's the 3 that they take. Our question mark does something. And that completes this round of combat, which is very unexciting because nobody's in range to shoot each other yet. But that is a super quick kind of flow of the round of combat, right? And so now back at the next round, we do it again. Everybody rolls initiative. All the ships. You guys do so with advantage with the sequel now, and we proceed.
Captain? Do we want to do 1 and 1? Captain rolls 1, someone else rolls 1? Nymue, roll 1. Murderbeard, roll 1, and then take the higher one.
Okay, sure.
Is it just a straight D20?
Yeah.
Well,
Plus
add
3.
+3 to it.
13.
16. Oh no, sorry, 17. These dice are hard to read. I need to get better
Okay.
dice.
You said 17?
Yeah,
The
that
higher
was the
one?
higher
Yeah.
number.
Okay. So the sequel has won the initiative roll. You guys are first in the initiative roll here. For now, let's say that we're going to use the bring her around maneuver. For this piece of this thing, we're going to use bring her around as a full sail ahead. So if you want to try and go fast, you can use that maneuver for that.
Oh. I feel like we should brace instead of evasive action. Press the advantage, and then do the gotta go fast thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is
I'd
the
agree with you.
rules?
Definitely gotta go fast. Definitely gotta go fast.
Yeah.
Must go faster. Must go faster.
Yeah, this is like,
Let's go faster.
go faster, go faster.
Well, then why don't you get out back and paddle, Thyxes?
Okay, so what are your 3 maneuvers that you guys are employing?
Brace, press the
Fast.
advantage, and bring her around to go fast.
Okay.
Right?
Alrighty.
Yeah, because I don't think raising the AC is gonna help all that much when we have like 4 different things that want to hit us. You know what I mean? Like,
What is
alright.
our base AC, by the way?
yeah,
Same as the Grimm's Folly.
Oh, okay.
15.
just for this point, 15 AC of 15. Most ships have that AC because like they're not.
Do we want to
Like-
switch it then? Do we want to bring
Yeah.
the AC up instead of brace?
Yeah, I
Okay.
changed my mind now.
Okay,
Yeah, evasive action, press the advantage, and gotta go fast.
that makes sense. Cool. Alrighty, gotta go fast.
After Captain yells at Thyxes goes to the back of the boat and uses shape water to make a bunch of like little mermaid people out of water, like shoulder checking the back of the boat to try to push it farther ahead.
Okay. You do that. It's unclear if it's helping or not.
I don't think it's working, Captain.
It's working. It's keeping you way over there, and I'm over here. It's working.
Theoretically, if he's like at the back of the ship and you're at the helm, he's kind of still right near you. In any event, the next to go is going to be the defense cannon, and at this point, the runes have lit up, and the defense cannon is going to take a shot at the sequel. So the defense cannon
What if
is
it didn't,
going
though?
to. Well, I mean, we'll
What
never
if they,
know.
like, accidentally hit the other ships.
We'll never know because it's shooting at
Which
you.
one does it hit
Hit
the target?
What if it just
Yeah.
shot the city instead?
Okay,
guy's
so it gets a 15, which
Does not hit.
is not enough because you guys are taking evasive
Well,
action.
Being evasive
So
action.
this thing, the cannon like spins, right? This barrel spins, these runes flare, and even from like you guys are like half a mile off from this thing, right? Even from here, you hear this noise. This thing goes like, and this like meteor of like blue red arcane fire launches out of it and like streaks like a comet across the bay, and it hits the water like 100 feet forward and like port side of you guys, and this like mass geyser of water goes up, and you see the like runes dim back down to like a kind of like a faint bluish, and then they begin to brighten again as this thing seems to like start to recharge to take another shot. That is its turn. It misses you guys. The ships are going to use gotta go fast. They're going to use line up, and they are going to use they're going to fire. They're a little far out, but they are going to take a shot. They're going to shoot with a chase cannon, which is they have cannons like mounted on the front of the ship that fire like straight forward in your guys' direction. So the 3 of these guys are going to take a shot. They're going to do so at disadvantage because they're still kind of too far away from you guys. So ship number 1, the lower is a 4+ things, so that's going to miss. Ship number 2, also a 4+ things. Ship number 3, the lower is a 7 plus things. So all 3 of them, you hear from behind you. You hear, and the sound of like splash of cannon shot arcing across and landing behind you guys to the aft of the ship in the water can be heard. That is going to be their turn. So they also have used the gotta go fast, but they are faster than you, so they close a little bit. They're starting to get closer. You guys at this point are out past the horn of this spit of land. You're out into open water here and are starting to bear to the north/west, basically moving your way, trying to get around the cape of the the landmass to the west of the city to get put land between you and this cannon, essentially. So that is another completed round of combat. Let us roll our initiatives.
Michael, roll one.
Oh boy.
Wait, did we press the advantage this time?
We did.
Yeah.
Yes. So you have advantage.
You have
Advantage?
advantage, Michael.
Okay. Here we go.
I believe in you, Michael. Don't fuck up. Oh, sorry, I said the bad word on the stream.
It's been said a few
Hey!
times already.
Good job, Michael. Wait, no, that's a
14 plus 3.
wait. That's another 17.
17? Okay.
17.
I got 18. What do we have?
An 18.
What's
Okay.
so high?
Alrighty. So with an 18, you guys have in fact won the initiative here. The 17 was not gonna do it. The cannon also rolled an 18, but I always give ties to the players. So you guys go first in the initiative. What are your 3 actions here?
Question. I
Yes.
doubt we can, but can we do gotta go fast twice? Just for information.
Probably
maybe
not.
that's
I don't know how
fast.
we would quantify that, as I've
Yeah,
sort of
okay.
obfuscated the direct
Yeah.
Maybe just copy paste what we did last time.
Yeah, I
Press
think that's
advantage,
working
gotta
for
go
us.
fast, and evasive.
Perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
Copy paste.
Okay. The cannon spends its round charging up. Cannot fire 2 rounds in a row.
Oh boy.
The ships, they are going to bring her around / gotta go fast. They are going to reload. You have to reload those chase cannons. And they are going to line up to give themselves advantage next round. With that speed, they are now going to be firing not with disadvantage into you, as they have closed the gap a little bit.
Love that.
So nobody shoots at anybody this round, but you guys are desperately making your way based on how long it took them to shoot that cannon the first time, and kind of looking at the glow of this thing and the pace that you are moving to get away from this city. You think that they are probably it's going to be very close, but it is likely that they are going to get to take one more shot at you with that cannon before you guys get out of its line of fire. The frigates behind you are still closing in, but you guys are with all haste making your way out of the port here. So new round, initiatives, go for it.
Captain?
Wait, can I roll one?
Yeah, Captain and Scylla? 1-on-1?
Big boy. No, that's a 12.
18.
18, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. With an 18, you guys do in fact go first again. Doing your same 3 maneuvers, or are you changing it up? Okay.
Same
So you guys are going to continue to like run for it. Continue to take evasive action as Murderbeard is like wildly, you're just, like steering the ship left, right. You're just throwing the wheel back and forth. And you are continuing to like keep everybody, you're like shouting commands like, haul that line, tighten up that whatever, do boat stuff,
Do boat stuff.
Presumably Murderbeard knows, terms that make sense for boat stuff.
And
But
Nimue's
you are
yelling
like,
them in Orcish for the orcs.
yeah,
'cause
you
they're-
guys are keeping the
I'm
crew in line,
translating
like,
Orcish.
and like they're like, everybody on board the sequel knows that they're like, for their lives fleeing right now, so they're like on the ball, keeping you guys moving at best pace, even as Murderbeard like wildly like steers the ship and cannonballs like plunk into the water. The next to go is going to be the ships. So they on their last turn reloaded. They lined up a shot, and they used their speed to try and close on you. So now they are going to fire their chase cannons again, and they're going to do so with advantage because they lined up their shot. So the first ship gets a 7 and a 6. This is only a 13 to hit, so that is going to miss. The second ship with advantage is definitely going to hit you guys once. And the third ship also is going to... You guys are going to hit twice by chase cannons.
Okay.
You guys are going to take a total of... This one... This one... This one... This one. From the first ship, you take 20 points of damage to your hull. From the second one, you are going to take... $26 points. So a total of
No.
46 points of damage to your hull.
We have 104.
So you guys, like, everybody, like, shakes as, like, the deck, like, wood splinters shatter up into the air. Like, you see, like, a hole is just, like, ripped in one of the sails as, like, a shot just goes through it and then hits the front of the ship on the far side. The third shot, you hear, like, a splash as it hits the water. The last thing that you see is in front of you, coming from around the curvature of the coast, comes a single ship. It is not an Ignean warship. It kind of just looks like a fishing vessel, or like a merchant vessel. It's not flying that you can see in the darkness. It's not flying any, like, colors or insignias or anything like that. It just, like, comes sailing around and is heading... At first, seems like it's heading, like, right at you. But then you can kind of see it is starting to angle, like, inward, like, landward. And it looks like it is going to cross, like, between... It's going to cross, like, on the port side of you guys, like, between you and the coast, as you guys, like, pass each other.
Does it have a bomb in it?
Yeah, like, do we recognize what's going on here?
It's just a ship. You've never seen it before.
Shit.
So that is that round of combat. Let us... so one more round of combat is going to resolve the, like, in-harbor portion of this combat. And then we're gonna, like, kind of narrate some open sea before you guys get back to the Grimm's Folly. Assuming you don't get exploded in the next round. So go ahead and everybody roll me initiatives, or you guys and the enemy stuff.
Kristy, roll.
Am I rolling 1 or 2?
2.
2?
I don't know.
It's Naporian.
Hey! 18 plus 3.
21. Very good.
There's an 18 and an 8.
Okay, so with a 21, you beat out the other ships who got a 20 on their initiative. So you guys are the first to act. What are you doing?
Oh, jeez. What are we doing?
The same. The same
Okay.
thing. I think we're
I think we have to keep it to the same because
should we try to
I don't know.
not press the advantage and like do the damage thing, or is that? I feel like we're like doing good because we're
Yeah.
able to keep ourselves safe.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, but if they go first before us, they can shoot us when we don't have the AC boost.
That's my
Yeah,
only
so that's
concern. So I think it's a toss up between evasive action and brace.
I think
Because-
we stick with evasive action.
Yeah,
it's
that's fine.
harder for them to hit us.
yeah.
You
she
can-
is-
We're already pretty bumped up.
Well, you're wanting to press the advantage, right? Like, because you can evasive action and brace.
Well, yeah, but
Um,
pressing the advantage means that, like, before anybody
Yes.
hit, assuming we win the
Yes.
initiative contest, the benefit of winning that means we can do stuff to
Mhm.
protect ourselves before someone does something to us, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just
We
copy-
gotta keep doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just copy paste.
Cool.
All right.
Evasive.
Alrighty.
Gotta go
Literally
back.
what I'm doing in the notes.
Hope we don't
Literally
sink.
copy paste.
The ships on their turn are going to reload.
Okay.
They are going to go fast to chase you.
Gotta go fast.
And they are going to line up, give themselves advantage again. That is what they're going to do on their turn. I'm going to narrate the next bit simultaneously because they interrelate to each other. And it'll be more interesting this way. The coastal turret, the turret on that fortress structure, turns and like lines up another shot. You see the flare of the runes, and you hear that telltale hum as it starts to like prepare to fire again. That other ship sails past you, like you guys pass each other like this. Everybody make me a perception check.
Nine.
The only thing I can do. 24.
Okay.
18.
8.
8.
Oh.
I didn't hear Murderbeard. Did you give one?
Yeah, it was a. Are we adding anything to this one?
Your perception,
Perception.
whatever your perception check is.
Oh. Only 15.
Scylla, you are the only person that sees this. That ship sails past you. And you kind of look, right? There, it's chaotic. There is like smoke filling the harbor now as like cannons have been fired, and this thing is leaving some kind of a weird like phanergetic thrum in the air every time they shoot it. This big cannon. This ship sails past you. It's not in any danger of hitting you or anything like that. It's a few hundred yards. But you like look over and you kind of like squint. And at first you're like confused as it doesn't look like anybody is on the ship. Like the thing looks like it's just sailing unpiloted. And then you spot a single figure like stand up as if they had been like hunched over like doing something on the deck of the ship. And they stand up and they like lift a hand and like kind of make a weird sort of like motion like this, and you realize that you get the impression that you think they like had a rope in their hand. They like tug a rope that you think is connected from where they're standing like amidship to the wheel, because they like do this gesture and the ship like adjusts course slightly. And you're like looking at this lone figure, and you see like they have kind of a hood pulled up. They turn, and like the empty hollow, like the black emptiness beneath the hood sort of like turns towards you, and though you can't see the face or the features of the person beneath, like you swear that like they looked right at you. And all you can see of this figure is that they are wearing entirely black, with just like the littlest bit in like the lamp lights of the ship, you see like the glitter of like golden like filigree across their garments. And this figure, casual as can be, just like lifts a hand and gives you the sassiest like two-fingered like salute, and then like makes a very complicated looking gesture with both their hands, and in like a flare of light vanishes. And about a half a second after that, you hear boom as the cannon discharges from the coastal defense fortification, heading straight for the Seaquill. Except that very slight modification to the direction of that ship arcs it in such a way that this cannon blast, instead of hitting you, hits this ship. And it's funny that you should have asked if it had a bomb on it, because when this cannon hits this ship, it explodes so fantastically that, like, it must have been packed to the gills with something flammable. It blows up like 7 times the size of the ship that exploded. And this, like, torrent of some, you don't know if it's like oil or pitch or something, like arcs high in the air, completely ignited, and lands into the water and continues burning on the surface of the water. And as you guys are pulling away, you look back and you now see, as you like advance forward and like crest around the lip of land that like puts you out of line of sight of this cannon so that they can't shoot at you again, you see all 3 of those Ignean frigates like hard correcting, like turning aside, as between them and you there is now a arc of fire in the harbor. You sail clear, and they're still chasing you. But whatever this thing was packing has exploded and, like, ignited the harbor in a way that has perfectly bought you enough time to get out and get on your way to try and reach the Grimm's Folly before these ships inevitably would have caught you.
I'm gonna just real quick relay the description of, like, I don't know who that was, but they wore dark clothes with gold filigree, and that is all I saw. And then they teleported. Just so that everyone knows, because I don't know who that was.
What the hell?
I'm sure the explosion blew Thyxes back from the back of the boat onto Murderbeard.
I guess I'll ask that question later of who that was, but they bought us time.
Yeah, I don't... Why do I feel like we owe somebody something now? Let's just keep going!
Quick question or point of order. Can I look around the deck of our little ship and see if that person has teleported onto our ship?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Where the heck did they go? Is my question. It's like, I want to know who they are, but I also want to know where the heck they went.
No, it's valid.
Like, literally, who do we know that
17.
teleports?
17 perception to see if anyone else is on our ship.
No. It does not appear that you have picked up any new passengers since you guys boarded the ship on the dock.
All right. That was a big boom. I'm gonna start assessing damages as we're running.
Sure. You guys have not taken significant enough damage to the ship to put you in any immediate danger. So as you guys kind of know, if you've looked over that sheet, there's certain thresholds that will cause the ship to begin to sink. And depending on how bad the damage is, the speed at which the ship sinks and what you have to do about that and what it costs you changes. You did not take enough damage to reach any of those thresholds, so there's definitely some splintered wood and things like that, and probably a hole or two in the deck, but the ship is not taking on water in any way. There's a small hole where one of those chase cannon shots went through one of the sails, but it hasn't compromised them at all. So you guys are operating under full power as you proceed.
I mean, dang, are we picking maneuvers right now, or are we
So I
piecing
think
out
what
of there?
we're gonna do at this point is we're going to they're still coming, but I think this mystery individual and their bomb ship have bought you enough time that you will get back to the Grimm's Folly before these guys are able to circumnavigate the harbor and catch you. So I think we'll leave off the ship initiative, and basically say you guys sail for a little bit of time here at best possible speed, headed towards the where you left the Grimm's Folly. And sure enough, it comes into sight a little bit of time later, anchored, sails furled in. From what you can tell, they do not look like they are making ready, and they're certainly not heading towards you. Does not look like your seagull with your 10 does not seem to have found its way to them. But they're there. But as they come into sight and you guys are heading to them, behind you, the three thank you chat Frignians, Ignian frigates, the three Frignians round the landmass and begin to bear down on you again. So you guys pull along, you're pulling up alongside towards the Grimm's Folly. As you guys get in sight, they definitely, whoever they have on watch definitely rings a bell, and you see lamps are lit across the deck. So by the time you pull up, they are already ready, throwing down lines to
As soon as Thyxes could see the boat, thaumaturgy sounds of bells the whole way.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So they fully know you guys are coming. They are ready. Immediately they get you guys aboard. They see the pursuing ships. So as you guys you get aboard the Grimm's Folly, the ship is already beginning to move. And those three ships are closing in. So as you guys make fast to to get to your positions, Murderbeard, you sprint for the helm. The rest of you take up positions. You get ready. The crew of the Grimm's Folly you see is running about. Mokral and his little gaggle just kind of get, like, they go below decks and just, like, get out of the way. Because they're big and not familiar with the ship. You can tell he kind of barks at them in Orcish, which Nymue you understand is like a quick order of like, make yourselves out of the way, like, do not interfere with them operating their vessel. And they like get the hell out of the way. The 3 like randoms that you guys picked up like take their cue and just like run down there after them, and you guys prepare to fight the Ignean Empire.
Sidebar: I would throw the drow we are
Oh my god,
holding.
yeah, the guard.
The
You do have a drow
guy
prisoner in the hold.
And an
prisoner.
Ordinum Libri.
I would send the prisoner
Oh,
with
oh,
overall
oh.
below, and ask Nymue to tell them to like just tie him up downstairs somewhere.
He's
Yeah.
already.
And then
Oh no, he's on
yeah.
the sequel. That's right. Yeah. You
Yeah,
can
but
bring
we're
him
taking
up.
him on to
Yes,
bring
yes,
him
yes,
up,
yes, yes,
and
yes.
then I didn't want to
Imagine we
leave
have
him
a
up.
brig.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
some
theoretically.
kind of, and then yeah, that I just want to make sure we didn't leave him behind, and I assume Aravesh is just going.
Aravesh,
downwards.
like similarly, like she just like gets the hell out of the way so that she doesn't mess anybody up. So these 3
Have
Ignean
we
ships. Go ahead.
Secured the sequel to our ship? Is that what we're doing?
You tell me if you want to. If you want to have done that, you can. If you want to have just like abandoned it, so you're not having to like deal with its extra bulk attached to the
like,
ship
slow us
in a
down.
dogfight, you can just leave it float.
Yeah, probably.
Oh no.
Not
I
be
just don't
worthwhile.
want it to get into the Ignean's hands. That makes Nymue very concerned. Maybe we leave it while we deal with them and then pick it up if we can.
Is it?
Maybe we load it with gunpowder and blow it up.
I was just gonna suggest.
mean,
Is it
honestly-
insensitive to do that?
You
that would
probably
be my
don't
vote.
have the time for that, as that would take you like some matter of like minutes, and like
Can't we just
like
shoot it?
these guys are going to be like you're going to be in shooting each other with cannons range in like seconds.
Leaving it afloat is probably decent cover, though.
Your sequel.
The sequel.
The sequel. I don't want to
Okay.
leave it, but if we have
Oh
to, I
no,
will.
our sequel.
Our sequel.
It's
Oh no, our sequel.
I feel like, honestly, I don't know how well Nymue would have attached it, but she probably would have at least attached a rope to it, so it's kind of like a little tug behind us.
I think like if you guys want to like have it, the crew of the Grimm's Folly can have like secured it fast and like
Yeah, I think-
pulley like
I
lifted
think
it up,
Nymue wants
because
to.
like leaving it just like single rope attached to the back of the Grimm's Folly
Yeah, it's
is
gonna
going
get
to
fucked.
it's going to mess you guys up trying to like maneuver the ship as this other boat is just like wailing around behind. So if you want it, like we can say that the Grimm's Folly crew had time to like
Nymue kind of
attach it again.
wants it. She doesn't
Yeah,
want them to
that's
have it. It's
That's
either we
fine.
destroy it or we take it with us, and I don't think we have time to destroy it, so let's just take it with us.
Sure. So they like it's a little bit hasty. You know, they didn't have time to really fully do it, but like they get that thing lashed to the side. You know, the let's call it the starboard side of the Grimm's Folly.
Chad asks if there's a ship valet.
Yeah. There is, but like there's no guarantee that they're not gonna like joyride it all over the coast.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a ship valet, but they're also pirates, so it's like a 9% chance they just steal your ship.
Okay. So these 3 Ignean Empire frigates, these Frignians, as we have discovered, bear down on you guys. You guys rush to positions. The crew makes ready. You hear the like of the cannons being rolled out into position below decks, and the battle commences. Next time on Delve Requisite.
Hey.
So, a very basic primer for like the ship combat system that I've devised. We'll have between now and next time to make some tweaks if there's anything we think we can improve. Obviously, things take on a little bit more of a dynamic nature when like you guys have weapons that you can shoot back at the enemy, as opposed to just having to run away. But you can kind of see my intention there was you can sort of see how the patterns start to emerge where like they, like the ships that were chasing you, like they take a shot and then like you guys then that like they can't shoot at you again next round because that they have to reload. So like you can start to sort of like play the system right where like, well, we know that they need to reload before they can shoot those chase cannons again. So we can, change up our tactics, things like that. I'm hoping like makes for a little bit of a more dynamic,
that makes sense.
Play. And same thing for you guys, right? Like your guys' broadside cannons are weapons that have reload. So like you can't fire them. You have to fire them, reload them, and then you can fire them after that. So it starts to make like, I'm hoping it makes the combat a little more like strategic. And then I'm hoping this like, not having like 2 ships and 5 players and 16 zillion guys on each ship all having to be in initiative, and just doing these initiative rolls makes things a little more speedy. So we'll get into the real meat of like ships fighting each other next time. That is going to be it for tonight's episode of Delve Requisite. We are off next week, as I am moving. I will be no longer in this specific void. I will be in. You can see the desolate emptiness of my slightly taken apart office behind me. I will be in a different location next week as I'm in the process of moving. But I'm going to be doing that next week, so we're going to be off next week. We will be back the following week, hopefully, with the Fool's Errand, and then we will be back the week after that with Grimm's Folly. So, thank you once again to Proficiency Bonuses sponsors, Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle. Thank you at home for joining us this evening for another episode of Delve Requisite. And of course, as always, thank you to you, my players, for joining me every week for our exciting campaign. I have nothing else. Have a good Thanksgiving, chat. Happy Thanksgiving from chat. Happy Thanksgiving to you, chat. Yes, well wishes. And I don't know.
You can't say the line because
No, this line is not about the literal interpretation.
It's about the intent.
Okay, the intent is that we will see you spiritually, maybe, instead of in person, but in our hearts. We'll see you next Tuesday. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.